If you're hunting for horror movie recommendations, you've come to the right place. Here's my quick list of 5 great Korean horror movies you might not have seen. A Tale of Two Sisters. Sumi returns home after a long stay in a mental hospital for an unclear reason, to live with her distant father, younger sister, and controlling stepmother. To say much more about the plot would spoil the film, but it's heavily based on traditional Korean folk tales and retains a lot of the fable elements of that, albeit with plenty of additional horror. In fact, when it comes down to it, this is a lot like a gothic movie, complete with an isolated country house and lots of ghosts. Add to that the unsettling visual style with its deep shadows and slow camera moves, and you have an instant classic on your hands. The Wailing. A brutal murder in a sleepy rural town stumps the local police. As Officer Jong-gu investigates, links to a mysterious virus and a Japanese stranger begin to show that the case may have supernatural elements. And then there's his disturbing dreams to worry about as well. This film is chock full of clever imagery. It's stunningly shot, and you could sell it just on that basis. But for me, the really interesting thing is the mishmash of horror elements. There's an infectious virus that makes you crazy, which seems more like a sci-fi or zombie trope, and then there's shamans and ghosts, which is much more clearly supernatural. All of that makes it a fascinating film that really keeps you guessing and well worth a watch. Train to Busan. Look, you're a horror fan, you've probably seen hundreds of zombie movies. You must be sick to death of them. No pun intended. Well, I'm here to tell you that Train to Busan is a horror movie that's well worth your time, even if you're suffering from undead fatigue. Workaholic businessman Sok Woo is travelling from Seoul to Busan with his daughter to see her mother. They join a mixed group of people of all ages from across Korean society, but when a woman with a strange infection boards and bites an attendant, it becomes clear that something is very wrong in the outside world. Taking a relatively straightforward portrayal of zombies, but placing characters in an interesting new context, a speeding train, the film plays with the claustrophobia of the train environment, some extremely scary zombies, and realistic, heart-wrenching performances to make a uniquely tense horror experience. Think that bit in World War Z on the plane and stretch it across a whole movie but make it actually good, and you have an idea why this is such a good pick. Bonus points if you can get hold of Seoul Station, which is an animated prequel from the same director. The Red Shoes. Sun Jae finds a pair of pink shoes in a subway station and takes them home, becoming obsessed with them. Soon it becomes apparent that the shoes are cursed, and to protect herself and her daughter, Sun Jae begins to investigate the history of the shoes. Loosely, and I mean loosely, based on a story from Hans Christian Andersen, the film reinterprets the fairy tale feel of that story as a disturbing horror, pulling in themes from Korean history dealing with the Japanese occupation and adding a healthy helping of surprisingly nasty gore. But it's the style of this film that really makes it worth watching. Its glossy cinematography and kind of choreographed death sequences combine in a series of disturbing images that stick in the mind way after the credits roll. The Host. The third film from the now quite famous Bong Joon-ho, The Host is a monster movie with a difference. Loser Park Gang-doo mopes about in his snack shack on the river in Seoul, working with his dad and his daughter Hyun-so. Their boring life is interrupted by the sudden arrival of a mutated river creature who goes on a murderous rampage, climaxing in the kidnapping of Hyun-so. Determined to get his daughter back, Gang-doo teams up with his brother, sister and dad to break the quarantine around the area, defying the government and retrieving Hyun-so. Or at least that's the plan. With Bong Joon-ho's trademark mix of dark humour, social commentary and stunning genre devices, The Host is a thought-provoking horror that turns the monster movie genre on its head, and it's dominated by the fantastic execution of its truly singular monster. That's it from me for this list of 5 great Korean horror movies, and I'd love to hear your recommendations in the comments below. Maybe you like the Whispering Corridor movies, classics like The Housemaid, genre-bending stuff like R Point, or something a bit more grounded like I Saw the Devil. Let's discuss it. Until then, have a good one, and bye for now.